Well, hello there, Lily Kay here. Just a little information before you start watching this episode of To All the Films We Judged Before. This is the shortened version of the interview we did with Rick Werty. You can listen to the uncut gem, see what I did there, on our official podcast site. Enjoy the episode. Well, hello there.
Hi, everybody.
Katie.
Welcome.
How are
Hi,
you?
Lily. I'm swell. How are you doing?
It's going.
It is going.
It is.
As it always is.
Yes.
Shall I do my spiel?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to All the Films We Judged Before. I'm
Ooh.
Katie, and that is Lily Kay.
Not Troy Baker. I'm sorry.
Still one day, but we've got
One day.
somebody even more special with us today.
Yes, the most special person in the universe. And I am so proud to say that we are welcoming my very, very good friend, Rick Werty.
There he is.
Ricky!
Looks great.
I put my fangs away for the weekend, so.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right, we don't want to fright people. We're all good.
No, we want to scare people down.
Oh, okay.
It's good
Hello,
fun.
ladies.
Hi, Rick. How are you doing?
So, I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on your show and your podcast. And I'm honored to be with you two awesome young ladies. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. We're ecstatic to have you.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
100%. So, Rick, we know each other for 10 years now. This is our 10th year's anniversary, actually. And
10 years, my goodness. Yes, time just zips by, man. Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
what happened? I don't even remember things.
I became middle-aged and you became gorgeous, so there it is.
Oh, stop
You're
it.
always gorgeous, and now you're even more gorgeous.
Okay, I'm leaving now. Bye. Well, thank you. I'm trying my best. But for those who, for some mysterious reason, don't know you, which is weird. Like, come on, people, it's Rick Werty. Please tell us where they can know you from.
Well, if you watch television, which I hope that many of your listeners and viewers do.
Well, they should. It's kind of the podcast.
Exactly right. They should, yeah. It's a good thing to do. It's very healthy, very healthy for you.
Yeah.
My latest gigs, I play Dean Farr on the show called The Magicians. Yes, and you can see your lovely shirt there. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Peaches and plums.
Peaches and plums, motherfucker. That's right.
Man.
We can say the F word. Is that okay?
Oh yeah,
you're all
for
good.
it.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Once I have permission for that, then I know I can really relax. So.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd be able to survive if we weren't allowed to survive.
Okay, good.
Probably not.
Because a part of me is like this, like, can I say certain things? Or can I
I'm
not?
the exact same. I'm like, I really have to pay attention to what I'm saying,
Right.
otherwise I may just accidentally just drop an F-bomb for no reason.
Exactly right. Exactly. We're live on ABC News. Can we say the fuck? Can we say fuck? Okay. Coming to you live from CNN.
Yes.
But we did 5 years of this amazing show called Magicians. I played Dean Farr, and it was an amazing, incredible experience. Another show that I worked on literally at the same time as Magicians was The Man in the High Castle, which you can see on Amazon Prime. There are 4 seasons on Amazon Prime, and for The Magicians, there are 5 seasons. So we're done with both shows. It was a true blessing from God that they were both shooting in Vancouver, because the producers on one show were fans of the other show, and then vice versa. Like, they both loved each other's shows, and they worked. Yeah, like they said, we'll work it out so that Rick can do Magicians and Man in High Castle. But the Magicians wanted me the most, and they made me a regular on the show. And so I was, there were certain days where, like, I was doing both shows literally in the same day, and it's weird. It's kind of like you sort of get what you want. And I've always wanted. I remember the actor Mark Sheppard. Do you know Mark Sheppard?
Yeah. Oh, I love Mark Sheppard.
We love Mark Sheppard.
Yeah, he plays Crowley on Supernatural and a billion other things.
It's like one of those guys who chops up in everything as a guest.
It's Mark Sheppard. Yeah, exactly right. And talented actor from England, and we were talking. We were on Battlestar Galactica a long time ago. I was Cylon number 4.
Yep.
Creepy Cylon Dr. Simon. Yeah, exactly. We'll get back to BSG later if you want to. But I was talking to Mark. I remember talking to Mark backstage, and he says, "Man, I'm married. I have kids, and I'm doing Battlestar plus 2 other shows." And I was just like, "Wow, I would love to have that problem." And I found myself, well, not being married, but dating a string of crazy people. But I don't. Vancouver. Okay. And a couple of them were nice, but I found myself working on 2 shows simultaneously, and there were a few days where I couldn't tell you where I was headed. I was so tired, completely exhausted. Physically, mentally, like you're trying to take off one character and then put on the other one, and then trying to, have your lines ready for one scene or scenes, and then leave that one alone and then go do the other one,
So to mix them up in the middle of a scene.
Oh my God. Did that happen?
Yeah. Well, I remember I was on the Magician's set. I do remember this. I was on the Magician's set and I was ready to say all my lines. I always have my lines in my, I could have this memory. I can remember everything except people's names for some reason. Yeah.
So similar.
Yeah. And,
so bad with names. I don't know what it is.
Exactly. You are too. I am the worst with names. I can remember faces from decades ago. I can remember addresses, phone numbers from when I was a child. But I can remember pages and pages of text, dialogue, Shakespeare, anything. But names, for some reason, they just don't stick in my brain. But I was on the set for the Magicians, and we were getting ready to start the scene, and then all of the Man in the High Castle lines were coming back in my head, and the director says action, and I was like,
wait,
wait a second, line.
Yeah, exactly. And there's that voice in your head that says, wrong show, go back to Magicians, like put that back in your head. So, but it worked out. And now that I've done that, I can honestly tell you, and for all the actors out there listening, having 2 shows is nice, but having 1 is really sort of perfect because you can just focus on that one.
Yeah, and you know what happens if you suddenly mix up lines? There's a third option.
Yeah, what's the third option?
You can just go and say, "Oh, hi, Mark." That's it. It works all the time. That's always a Mark.
It doesn't matter what the scene is. It's fine.
Oh, hi, Mark. God damn it.
It's like another version of that bit in Friends where Joey's like,
"Oh my God,
I forget a line, I just look off into the distance." Like,
exactly.
Like a deeply in tone, like,
Right.
Until you remember your line again.
Yeah. Cheers.
By the way, cheers.
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 There you go.
That was my very first Zoom cheers. So that was really fun. Yeah. We'll do it again before the end.
Particularly blessed, I imagine.
So we have a lot of questions for you, my friend. Like a bunch of them. Some of them are very weird, just so you're prepared for them.
Lily's got more of the weird
weirder,
questions.
the better.
I'm going for like a slightly more generalized thing. I've got a couple of Magicians questions for my own sort of personal.
Okay. I think, you know what? I think at this point, you can ask me literally anything. So.
I think that's what 10 years gets you, right? You get the 10 years of friendship level, and then you can ask literally anything you want. I'm
like this, fuck any non-disclosure agreements. All that's gone. We can say whatever. So
it's all done. So it's
done. Yeah,
it's good for us. So first of all, I think the very first question, since we are a film podcast, and I know Katie has this on the list, but I have it on the list as well, so I will just ask it. Is what was the movie, or was there a specific movie or TV show or whatever that inspired you to become an actor, or how did the whole thing? I know how it happened, but it's
I don't. So I want to hear it.
I love that you asked me that so much because no one asked me that question.
Oh, good.
And I was literally just talking about this particular movie. I think last week with someone. We were talking about, what inspired you, when you were a young person to become an actor.
Yeah.
And I will happily tell you the name of the film. In fact, I'm going to show you on my other phone. I got gadgets and technology all around.
Oh, I've got my laptop here.
I've gotten pretty good in my 10 years, Lily. You will be proud of me.
I am.
Yeah, because when we first met, I didn't know shit. I didn't know how to do this.
That's true. But you were still managing to do things. So
yeah, I was like, what's Twitter?
Yeah.
I feel like 10 years ago, most people didn't really understand Twitter still.
Yeah, and I'm kind of one of these old souls. Like I sort of belong, I think, in a different generation or different time or something. And I'm a product of the late 60s, and I grew up in the 70s. So I was around when the first computer desktop systems were available, and I was the nerd kid who begged his mom and dad to please let him have one of those new things called a computer, please. And they bought me this little, it was called the VIC-20 computer, 1980. Oh, yeah. You guys were angels in heaven at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And
probably.
little babies heaven. And I got a computer, and I became a computer nerd, and I made my own programs, and I made my own video games and stuff. And I thought I was going to be a computer programmer,
Yeah.
Cool.
And so I got really good with it, and it just charged me up. And I was obsessed with video games at that time. At that time, it was Atari and Space Invaders and Pac-Man and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but anyway, long story short, now you can do all of that on, one of these.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, exactly right. And like this, like literally have the world in my pocket. And to answer your question, I don't know if I can show this to the camera. The film that inspired me to become an actor, and the actor in this film, who stars in this film, who inspired me to become an actor, I don't know if you can see that. A Soldier's Story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you told me about this.
Yeah.
I don't think
Soldier's Story. I did, yeah. And The Soldier's Story is based on a play called A Soldier's Play, written by Charles Fuller.
Okay.
And it is a story of a World War II captain in the Army who's also an attorney. And he has to try this racially charged case with one of the privates, an African-American private played by Denzel Washington, who was accused of killing one of the other black privates. Yeah. Everyone thought it was a white KKK guys from one of the other army camps, but it wasn't. It was Denzel Washington's character who did it. So this movie is, you have to see it. I probably did a horrible job of explaining it, but
you did a good job.
I am intrigued.
When I saw this film,
I'll get onto it.
When I saw the film, I was about 14 years old, I think 1983, and I saw the actor who plays Captain Davenport, and it was his name is Howard E. Rollins Jr., who's now deceased, Howard Rollins Jr. And when I saw him in this film, I remember saying to myself, I want to do that. Like I knew it. That's what I wanted to do. And it's like, you watch a million films in your life, and then you watch one thing or a television show, and you're like, I want to do that too. And it really hit me. And so there's another movie he did called Ragtime, about turn of the century America, like 1910, 1915. And he was amazing in that, probably a year before this film came out. So it was actually a movie that was not science fiction, that was historically and racially charged, and featured an outstanding cast of actors, and an African-American lead who to this day is one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life. Yep. And I said, that's what I want to do. So, much to my parents' chagrin, I remember I was in college, my first year of college, and I came back home to Detroit, and my mom and dad were like, because I'm the first to go to college in my family, university. Oh, wow. My brother's the first, I'm the second. So to get the college degree, my mom went for like a year, and then she wasn't able to finish. She was a young parent at the age of 21. So long story short, your parents want to know, are you going to be a lawyer? Are you going to be a doctor? Are you going to be you're going to be a congressman. Like, what are you going to be? And I said, I want to be an actor. And my dad, I can still hear him to this day losing his shit. God damn it. They had thousands of dollars sitting at your University of Michigan. How could you say you want to be an actor? Oh, God. Yeah. So,
at least you got the degree. That's that.
Yeah, you got the degree. Yes.
Part that I think a lot of people kind of go, I don't need a degree. I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And in addition to Howard E. Rollins Jr. and Soldier Story and Ragtime, there was a television show that also grabbed my soul. And like right from the beginning, it featured an outstanding multiracial cast, and that just, to this day is still one of the most important TV shows ever made, and that is Star Trek. Yeah, the original show. So, when I saw Star Trek as a child, also Lost in Space, and the first versions of Lost in Space. That show, particularly Star Trek. I said, you know what? I love Kirk, and I love Spock, and I love Uhura, and I love the whole cast. And it hit me, And then when Next Generation came around with Worf, starring Michael Dorn as Worf, and Picard, and Number One, and Jonathan Frakes, and LeVar Burton, like as Geordie LaForge, I said, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do what they're doing. I just don't know where it's going to go, But that's the long answer to your question.
And you ended up being in Star Trek later on.
I did, yeah.
So
yeah, I did.
And
it was I said this in other interviews, that it's one of the best jobs in town. It's kind of a rite of passage to just walk on the set, and to even just say a few lines, it's amazing, and the cast they're so humble and so kind, and you don't always get that, and sadly, but everyone I've met on Star Trek, literally everyone, LeVar Burton, Jonathan Frakes, Jerry Ryan, like everyone, they're all so kind, and I think they appreciate what they have,
Yeah. I remember when you told me about A Soldier Story, and I was like, the same as Katie, I was like, oh my God, I've never even heard of that movie. Like,
I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But I listened to you, and you were the reason I actually ended up watching it, and it's easily one of the best films I saw. It's on the list, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't tell you what was the film that inspired me to become an actor, because it's like for me, Night is Kid and everything, and it was Michael with John Travolta, and it was such a sweet movie, and
I love Michael.
It's
with John Travolta.
Yeah. So I was like, I watched Soldier Story, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't mention it was Michael, but it was Michael.
You're good.
That's fine.
You have I know, and Katie, I know we don't know each other, but I can already tell both of you, you can teach film. I can just feel that.
We can try.
Yeah, I certainly try to a lot. I think probably to the annoyance of a lot of other people. Like, listen, I got some things I need to say about X and Y and Z.
Right. And now, we all have a platform, to say them. So
that's why I'm here. I love doing this with Lily as well, because, we have these just great conversations about movies, TV, all the above. So
and you where are you based, Katie?
I'm in the south of England.
Okay. So, and you two, how long have you been doing this amazing podcast that you do?
Oh, I was just looking through my tweets today. I think it's only been about a month.
Yeah.
Which is kind of amazing.
Wow. You have such but it feels like you guys have been doing this for like at least 3 years.
Oh, I'm glad
that's
like
you've been
doing it, like you've got a nice chemistry together, and it's also comfortable and relaxed, and I think that's the sign of experience.
I think we strive to just be able to have like a good conversation with each other
Oh,
above like whatever else we're doing.
Right.
Lily really is the impetus for all of this. She kind of, because we had like the occasional like back and forth over Discord about just like stuff where I'm like, I didn't like X movie, and she's like, what? Why? Just kind of do like a whole like miniature discourse about whatever movie, and then eventually she was like, hey, do you want to do a podcast? And I went, yeah, okay.
That's so cool. And in fact, I got to tell you, this is a podcast, right? So this is my first podcast.
What?
Oh,
yeah.
we are doing many firsts at this point.
This is my very first one, yeah. But and it's funny because I always thought that a podcast would be like no video, just straight audio on a phone call or something. But this is cool to be able to have video.
Yeah, it's well, to be honest, you just got into the middle of it because we originally was just a podcast doing just the audio
podcast.
And then our dear friend Troy Baker, David, and Tom decided that it's worth to pick us up as a video format as well. So that's why we are on video right now. But it's gonna happen as a podcast still. So it's gonna be both. The best of both worlds. Is it?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's magical.
Yeah.
It's unreal. I don't think we processed it properly.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm just sort of like, yep, this is just happening now. And take me like 3 months, and then suddenly I'll be like, oh god, we're doing a thing.
Well, I brought a couple of little friends that I'd like to introduce you to.
Okay.
Yeah, are you ready?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, all right. I think you probably know this first guy.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Steve Rogers.
Yes!
Steve! There he is.
Steve! Wait,
he's
Steve!
Yes!
Captain!
Exactly.
He's got bearded Steve and everything. So.
Yep.
Yeah. You showed me. I just love Captain America. You showed me your tattoo when I last saw you.
Yep.
Yeah. And it says, I believe, friends to the.
I'm with you till the end of the line.
To the end.
Yep.
Yes. Exactly. And I have. Okay, here's one. Let me just show. I'm showing my age now.
You're 25. What are you talking about?
You guys know who this is?
Oh, Prince! Come on!
Yes.
Man, he looks glorious.
You like this? Come on!
Come on!
I may not know all the things, but I don't live under a rock.
That's Prince. I love Prince too.
Yep. Prince is awesome.
And I got this. Let's see. This one I got in, I believe, Dusseldorf.
Oh.
This is actually, I got this one. I got the Prince one this year in February. I was in Berlin.
Oh, just before everything shut down.
Dusseldorf, and then like you can feel maybe the pandemic was getting ready to go from like east to west.
Yep.
But nothing was shut down yet. You know.
Yeah.
And I was visiting a friend, and she said, "There's a comic shop. Let's go check it out." So we went, and I saw this, and I said, "I gotta have it." And then my last guy is Gold Panther.
Oh damn, that is
Wakanda
very cool.
forever.
Yes, yeah. So I traveled with all three of these the entire time I was in Europe, and wherever I would stay, I would take them out and put them up on the desk or something. So
I love that. I've got a couple of Funko Pops on my.
You've got some Funko Pops?
I got a couple. Yeah. I got one from a D&D show I watched called Critical Role, which actually you can see right. Everything's backwards. I can't really do it this very well. So she's right up there.
You look like you're trying to say, "Here, point to this website."
Subscribe and because everything's like backwards, so I have to like really orientate myself as I'm doing it. Yeah, she's right up there. And then I've got a little Doctor Who one of David Tennant with his hand in a jar.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's
a friend of mine gave me that one from.
Where did you get your Funko Pops? Did you get them at a comics?
A friend of mine gave me the Doctor Who one from my birthday, and then this Critical Role one I either got off their own shop or Amazon. I actually can't remember. But they were like, "We've got some more merch out," and I went, "God damn it, I have to buy some more merch."
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's always a good thing to do. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And
I'm-
Lily, I think I know you got some props. You got some stuff.
I do, but I am in my brother's room because the internet is only stable here, which is fun.
Yes.
So I brought down
Yes.
Wilson because
Yes.
because Wilson is awesome. Like
Wilson is.
I'm
Wait,
sorry, Wilson.
Can you please hold that up one more time?
Of course.
Because I want to get a picture of it. Wait, go back. Can you? Let's see. Yeah. That is perfect.
I love
It's
Wilson.
perfect. Yeah, I love Wilson too.
Yes.
I love how he's got a little like bowl for him to sit.
Of course. He has his own place.
He's got his own
He has
little
his
thing.
It's Wilson. Like, what did you expect, Katie? And then I have a porg because porgs are awesome.
Oh goodness gracious!
Wait.
That's a.
Oh,
that's
that is a pug that's got like stuff in him.
You know what? You got some. You both of you have some really cool stuff, and that's when I know I'm with my tribe of fellow nerds. Like everyone, like we can just be ourselves without
Oh.
you know people saying, "God, would you? How old are you? 5?" I'm like, no.
I mean, I
I'm
literally have
50.
all of my bears sitting on the
Yep.
top of my bed.
That's
In the background. Like, I have no shame. They're just there. They are my kids, and I love them dearly.
Exactly. And you know what? And if you don't like it, adios. You know?
Yep. Amen
Exactly.
to that. I agree.
Absolutely. Oh man, should I stick in another question?
Yes, let's go for it. Yeah.
Let's do with this one because I quite like this one. I was wondering if there were any movies or TV shows in recent years that have really excited you about their, respective mediums. Like anything new that's come out that you made you go, oh, okay, this is still like a thing that I really need to keep on the pulse of.
Absolutely. Well, you mean in terms of something that I personally
that
love?
you've like watched and like really enjoyed. Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, that
When
was a good choice.
When Stranger Things came out, I said, okay, you know what I mean? Like you want it. You're like, we've seen it
This thing
before.
still has legs.
Yeah, but exactly. We've seen, the kids who are living in Midwest America, and there's something that goes bump in the night. They don't know what it is, but of course they're going to figure it out. And I said, well, what is about Stranger Things that's going to make it awesome? And it grabbed me right from the pilot. And when the pilot ended, I went like this.
Yep.
I went, oh fuck! Like I couldn't wait to see the series. I could not wait to see the subsequent episodes because it started off with a great pilot, and I loved all the kids. They were just wonderful.
Very good.
And they had such a lovely chemistry in this. And my heart just fell in love with the young actress.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yes, Millie Bobby Brown, who's quite tall now. She's getting
yeah. She's
like
really grown up at this point.
It's funny to like by season 3 of Stranger Things, they've all gotten taller and the boys' voices have gotten deeper, and like everyone's and Millie's voice as well. Like everyone's gotten deeper voices, and they're teenagers.
Yeah.
And I thought the casting of Winona Ryder was excellent.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh God, she's so good.
She's so good.
Like I was just like, I know this lady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but you care for her. And it was just wonderful. The sheriff.
David Harbour.
Love David Harbour.
Yeah.
David Harbour, wonderful actor, fantastic. I first saw him in a James Bond movie. I think it was Quantum of Solace.
He was in there?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
That's
either.
the like not very good one as well. So
Yeah, like he was a bit heavier, but he was perfect for the role. He played this sort of disgruntled CIA agent, and he was
I haven't
awesome.
watched that movie in ages.
Yeah. And I'm a James Bond fanatic. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I thought this actor was amazing, and when I saw him in Stranger Things, I just went like this. like I knew it was going to be so good, So I fell in love with Stranger Things. And during the pandemic, particularly in March and April and May, I was in London. I couldn't get back home. So I did a tremendous amount of binge watching of a lot of things. And I fell in love with the TV show Jack Ryan.
Oh
I
yes.
haven't gotten around to watching that
Oh
yet,
my
but my
God.
mum watches it, and
Oh, really? Yeah,
both my
yeah.
my
It's so good.
parents
Lily,
are
have you
much
seen it?
better at
Yeah,
like
it's
keeping
amazing.
on things, especially my mother. She'll kind of watch anything that comes out.
Right.
So she's watched it all. I think it was one of the things that she watched with my dad, and they said
Yeah.
good, great, really good things about it.
Yeah. It's total, thriller, espionage stuff,
John
and it's
Krasinski's
done
there.
it's done really well.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Mm.
it's and they shoot all over the world, and one of my I wouldn't call him a friend, but I worked with one of the actors, Wendell Pierce, who plays Jack Ryan's senior
Oh yeah,
boss.
yeah.
I probably
Yeah, and
recognize the name, and I'm trying to think what he looks like.
when I saw him on the show, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
It's such a well done show. It's great, and it's it takes my mind off of it. As hard as this world has been this year, like I've been watching a lot of stuff to sort of escape, and
Yeah.
that includes science fiction or James Bond or Jack Ryan or something
Yeah.
to take me away from the immediate day.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Magicians was kind of that for me, because I started watching that
That's
end of
true.
March going into
Yeah.
April. It took me about 2
Okay.
weeks, and I went through the entire thing. Like, I think I watched maybe like I kind of was going slowly at the beginning, and then by the time I reached like season 3, I maybe went through a season a day until I
Wow.
got to the end. I was just like,
Wow.
I need to keep going. I'm invested now.
Well, you said you started watching The Magicians this year.
Yeah, and literally, I think the show, I think it was right at the beginning of April, going into, or like end of April going into May. I can't remember exactly, but the show had ended.
Yeah.
I think because I think I saw a bunch of people kind of reacting to the finale and stuff.
Right.
And I was speaking to a friend of mine who I guess she was speaking about it or something. And I was like, shall I watch The Magicians? I feel like it's something I could get into. And she kind of went, yes, I think you'd like it. And I went, okay. Then proceeded to spend the next couple of weeks just sending her every single thought I had about anything that happened.
I'm so glad. Well, first of all, thank you. As Jade Taylor sometimes says, and I've had to borrow this line from her. Thank you for watching our little show about magic.
I love it's just such a wonderful world. It was one of those things that I really kind of, the moment I got into it, I was like, I just like the atmosphere of everything that's happening within this. Like it was a really easy show for me to forget, like, the everything of everything else, and be like, oh, now there's a show about magic that I can get into, and everybody has like, still real problems, but it's like a it's still like a TV and a great story that I can kind of sink into and enjoy myself.
Yeah, it's well, a couple of things. I mean, first, thanks for watching, both of you. Thanks for watching Magicians, and it's hard to believe, but we did the pilot for The Magicians 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
Like I think it was December of 2014.
Yeah,
that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, and right before Christmas, they decided to film the pilot. I was of course elated. I would have some money for Christmas and
success.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
I was like, yes. I don't know if you ladies knew this, but Dean Farr dies.
Yes.
In the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew.
I just wanted to put that in as well. I was like, I knew this fact. I knew.
Yeah.
So hang on. He was actually that moment when he meets the Beast for the first time. He was actually meant to be dead.
Yep.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
but Rick was so good that they just wanted him back.
I was honestly ecstatic
It's the
when they were like,
truth.
"Oh, he's alive!" I was like, "Yes, I really like this guy."
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. And it wasn't a surprise. It was I already knew that was how the pilot ends.
Sure.
And I was okay, great. It'll be a great 2 weeks of shooting, and then we filmed it in New Orleans, Louisiana, and then I'll go back home and have Christmas and all that. But as it turns out, the pilot sat for weeks. Like when you do a pilot and then you don't hear, I would say within a month or so what's going to happen with it, it may not happen. I've done stuff that no one's ever going to see because they did $7 million pilots that no one's ever going to see because the network didn't like it. So I said, well, it was fun. I think it's a missed opportunity, but it turns out that they decided to finally give it a try. And they gave The Magicians 1 season, and the producers called me and said, we know you died in the pilot, but it's a show about magic, and so maybe we can magically bring you back. You know,
Good
Yeah,
choice.
to be fair,
Good choice.
I mean,
yeah,
the only things we saw that were that his hands were messed up and he had no eyes.
Yeah.
that's
He
right.
could easily
Yeah, the
survive
hands
that.
were all, bent backwards and
Yeah,
gnarly.
I think it was that scene in the pilot that because I was like, oh, this is fun. This like this weird show about magic and everything. Just like that last sequence where the
Yeah.
beast comes in and everybody's like frozen. I was like,
Yeah.
shit, this is something new.
Yeah. And
Okay, I'm in.
you're
Let's
in,
do this.
exactly. Yeah, that was it. It turned out well, and I think every season we got better and better, and we really gelled. The pilot was good, I thought, but I think we really came together in somewhere in the middle of season 1. We were like, okay, now we got a great chemistry, and the writers know how to write for us,
Yeah.
and they know how to do, they know how to produce the show, and what kind of effects we need, and all those things, and we got some good directors. Some directors didn't come back for following seasons, and then some stayed the whole time because they knew the show, they knew how to make it good, and sometimes you need people to come onto your show to make it better, and we had for us, that was a man named Chris Fisher. He became not only probably our best director, but he had a vision for the show to make it awesome, and he just saw it in his head, he's like, it's great, but we can make it great, like we can really make it great, and so they brought him on in season 2 to direct and then exec produce, and he, like all of our finales and stuff like that, he directed them, so
it boggles my mind that you guys didn't know if you were coming back from season 1, considering where it ends, because it's like everybody's dead. It's like last episode of season 1, everybody is basically dead.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, wait, they didn't know if they were coming. I would have been like mortified if that was like the end of the show. I was like, no, what are we meant to do with this?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because Jason Ralph, who plays Quentin Coldwater, love Quentin.
I miss Quentin so much.
I miss him so fucking much. I love him, and I told him, I remember we were in between shots one day, and I said, man, I always feel like I'm getting ready to get fired, like, like I don't know if I have a job next year. And he says, Rick, all of us feel like that. And the thing is, and we said that in season 1, and I said, I think the thing is, the producers, they always wanted to sort of keep us on edge, not knowing if we have job security the following year, not knowing, you know what I mean? Like I think it really created a tension, a healthy tension, but I think it made us all feel like, this may be our last season, so let's fucking rock and roll.
Yeah. I mean, we did agree with Katie on this, that season 3 is our favorite one for both of us.
Season 3.
Absolutely adore season 3.
Is season 3, is that with the Muntjac?
It's with the the keys. They need to go and find
the
all
7
the
keys.
Yeah.
The quest for the 7 keys.
Quest for the 7 keys.
That's a favorite season.
I think it's just so well constructed, and
Right.
it's like just from the word go. It's like here's the quest. Here's what every episode is going to be about.
Right.
And like from that point, you're sold. Plus, it has one of the best episodes of the entire thing, which is A Life in a Day. You get to watch Elliot and Quentin live out their lives together, and I still think about it and get like teary.
Oh my God! I just got chills.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, Life in the Day, I literally just got chills because.
I mean, I think if I think about it too hard, I will cry.
It's okay. It's okay. You can cry. It's okay.
It's our second video recorded episode, and I'm already crying.
That's
I will
fine.
cry with you.
I will as well.
I just
we join in.
Really, like that episode really took me by surprise. Like because I was, like I said, I was messaging my friend all about it, and I was watching it. I was like, wait, they're like living their whole lives out together. I don't know if I can deal with it.
Yeah,
and it makes you. And they played it. Hale and Jason played it perfectly. I mean, I wouldn't change anything in the whole performance.
Absolutely not.
The whole show, but particularly that episode.
Oh yeah.
You have two characters who clearly belong together.
They loved each other.
Yeah,
absolutely. And they had a whole life together, and they did it. They did what we all want, which is to have a full life.
And if I take that episode apart in my head, like just like thematically, the whole theme of it, like how the mosaic is meant to show the beauty of all life, but like they would never have been able to find the final piece if they have not lived out, which was, the actual beauty of all life, which was finding somebody to spend a life together with and being happy with them. Oh God, it's so beautiful. I can't even. And then like a season later, getting that episode with Elliot stuck in his like little mind palace and going through all of his memories and finding that one of Quentin after they remembered everything with the peaches and plums moment. Both of those episodes I think are some of my favorites. Like
they're fantastic. I totally agree, and I also I think that and I think Lily will agree with me as well. I love the musicals as well.
Oh my God, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, but the question I have for you two, now I'll be the interviewer. So
okay, go for it.
I'm gonna do it as Dean Fogg.
Okay. Yes, please. Oh my God!
Oh my God! I love
this. The question that I have for you both is: what is your favorite musical episode of The Magicians?
Oh, I think it might be Margot's episode in season 4.
Yes.
I think one, it's got some of the best songs in it.
Yes.
But I also just think that that whole sequence of Margot in the desert with her like sort of spirit guide version of Elliot. Yeah. That speech that he gives is like man, it really gives me chills every time. Plus, I just like seeing you all do Here I Go Again. I made myself a little playlist after I finished the show because it's kind of like my walk playlist. It's got perfectly curated for the walk I take my dogs on every day. And every time I get to Here I Go Again, I just it's like I stand a bit taller and I do like a proper little march.
Here I go on my own.
Yes. Oh man.
It's an MTV video.
Yeah.
Like, and the producers, particularly John McNamara, who's about my age, one of my oldest friends. We both grew up in the MTV generation of the 80s, and they wanted every musical to have music particularly from the 80s. Take on me.
Oh God, no! I swear to God, after that episode, I watched that episode. I sobbed throughout the entire thing, basically. Yeah. And then with episodes like that where I'm like really emotionally moved by it, I'm usually like sad for a couple hours and then I can kind of put it behind me and move on. I was sad for the entire weekend. Like I woke up the next day and it was still like I could still feel it in my chest. Yeah. I was like, oh God, this really affected me.
I mean, for sure, and I want to get right back to that episode because that's a big one. There are people who probably haven't. We can talk about it without spoiling it, I guess.
I think we can. Because we tend to just sort of put in like we're going to talk spoilers about X, Y, and Z, and then let people kind of like switch, kind of.
Okay, so the first time we see this surprise musical episode of The Magicians was it Taylor Swift, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when we all read the script, we were like this, oh hell yes. Like they're gonna just totally break the mold and throw a musical in the middle of season 1, with Jason in the mental institution, but he's really inside of his own head.
Yeah.
Like I said, this show really kicks ass because it's breaking the boundaries of Once Upon a Time and every other magical show that we've ever
100%.
seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that was really smart. And I said, they just need to keep doing the musical thing like once a year,
Oh, duh.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Did they do a musical episode in season 2? I genuinely don't remember. Was there a musical episode in season 2? I feel like I'm missing. I feel like I'm forgetting one, and
yes.
What's
that? That is. I can quickly check. Let's see.
Because I can't even remember right now.
I'll be able to look in my playlist and kind of pull out the song that's in there, but I'm like off the top of my head.
And it's funny because
it was the One Day More sequence.
Yes, that's it.
It was
the fight sequence.
Yeah.
In Fillory.
Yeah.
From Les Miserables, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really cool as well.
Yeah.
I think with musical episodes, I don't even know who started them, like which show was the first that did a musical episode. It's a trivia that we can look up afterwards. But I remember when it happened in The Magicians, I was like, oh hell yeah, this show just got like 100% better. Like, yes, please. And like obviously The Magicians is just freaking phenomenal. But I wanna go and nod the head for The Man in the High Castle as well, which was.
Ooh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for because I know that you we were communicating and you said I just started watching The Man in the High Castle and I really love it and I can tell you it means so much to me that you took the time to let me know that because we're so proud of it, and we but and The Magicians too, of course.
Yeah.
But like my career had started lagging, and it got back on track with The Man in the High Castle, which I did before The Magicians. It was just a couple of months before. So.
Oh.
I did spy those, but I
was like,
Oh,
come on.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah. These guys, I know, I need to buy shares of these. But for me, this show it was kind of home base for me because it gave me a second. Yeah. It started my career back again, and I was thrilled to be not only back to work, but on something that I thought had a tremendous meaning for a lot of people. And having visited you and others in Eastern Europe and thinking about what kind of world we would have if the Allied powers had lost World War II.
Yep.
Is incredibly frightening. And I'll be honest with you, Lily, I hadn't really thought of that as a possibility, like what if, and the alternate history stuff. And I haven't actually, I'll be honest, I have not read alternate history before up until this show, up until Man in the High Castle. So it's based on the Philip K. Dick book.
Yep.
I think the book is good, but I think it works better as a TV show. No, it's just totally cool.
I'm just gonna put it out there. It's better.
Yeah. And I think I agree, and I love Philip K. Dick. Like
same.
Just brilliant writer. So just amazing balls out, amazing writer. I thought that the pilot for this was so good.
Oh.
And I remember talking to my dad. I was back in Detroit. My dad was really sick, and I thank God I happened to be back there to care for him and take him to the hospital and everything. And I remember when he got out of the hospital, my agent had emailed me the script, and I had printed it out, and I was reading it in the dining room, my dad's dining room in his house in Detroit. And the only thing he could see on the front was, I believe it wasn't this image. It was something. I believe it was a Nazi something on the front.
Yeah, the very first one you made. The very first one.
Yeah. Like the pilot script. Like on each script, there's some sort of graphic.
Oh, okay.
Of what the show is, and then there's the title of the show. Yeah. And all my dad could see was something, horrendous, And he said, "Hey, what is that, man? What is that?" And I said, "Dad, it's a TV show. It might be, it's my next job." And he says, "No, man." He said, "Don't do that job. No. Just don't do that one, son." And I said, "Dad, it's an alternate history. It's science fiction." And, and it's okay to, I guess, say it, but I said, "Dad, we win. Don't worry."
Yep.
And,
it's the worst option appearing in Man in the High Castle, which
that's right.
It's like, thank God.
That's right. Exactly right.
Yep.
And so that was the premise of the whole thing and the beginning of the pilot. And you see an upside down world where the Nazis won, the Japanese Empire won, and they've split up the world, between them. And where I live in California, like all of that was Japanese.
Japanese,
States, and then everything east of Colorado was controlled and owned by the Nazis.
Yep.
And there's this little strip of land, like where Colorado is. That was the neutral free zone.
Yep.
And that's where my character appears.
Yep.
But we don't know who he is. Like we don't know if he is a double agent. We don't know if works for what side he works for. Does he just stand on his own? But we discover that he's a freedom fighter.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a good
Seth.
guy.
My family and I were just having dinner before we did this, and because my dad's watched all of The Man in High Castle, and he was like, I couldn't quite remember who Rick is in it, and he was, I think he went something along the lines of, well, I don't think he was on the Nazi side.
No.
Nope.
Good point, probably not.
Right, and for that matter, or the Japanese side either. So,
Yep. Nope.
No.
but it was an enormous learning experience for all of us. Huge cast. I've never worked with, I don't think, a bigger cast ever in anything I worked on. Actors from the Far East, from Vancouver, from Los Angeles, from New York. They were flown in all around, and I made some good friends, and I'm happy to say that it made me grow as a person.
Yeah.
And as any good job should, you should grow from that.
Oh yeah.
And it made me grow also as an actor. And the material is demanding, then you have to step up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you just don't show up and phone it in. You have to bring out something different or something challenging for yourself.
Yeah.
And I humbly say it was that kind of experience for me, and The Magicians was too. If I can brag a little bit, I became really good friends with Philip K. Dick's daughter, Issa. Her name is Issa. Yeah. Issa, but her full name is Issa Hackett Dick.
Okay.
And we just call her Issa, and she lives in San Francisco, and she grew up in San Francisco, where her dad, I believe, grew up as well. And she is his daughter, and she exec produces the show, and
Wow.
it's kind of cool. Like when I first met her, I kind of fanboyed. I was like, "You're Philip K. Dick's daughter." Oh my God.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing her name pop up as a producer, and I was like,
as a producer, yeah.
Is it? It's okay. But now you just confirmed that, because I wasn't sure that it's if it's her or not.
And but she's so cool, and she would, I can tell you right now, she would love you both so much, and she would want to take you all out for drinks and dinner and stuff.
I love that.
She's so cool, and she's so progressive, and so just totally down with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and she's very heavily involved politically in San Francisco. She'll post pictures of her voting ballot, and stuff like that, and like she's totally down, and I love people like that. Like the whole world isn't just TV, film, pop culture. Like the whole world is what's happening in the world.
Well, yeah. 100%.
I don't think you can really do like the whole TV pop culture thing without recognizing the world around you properly as well.
For sure. Like the two go hand in hand. And it's one of the things about living in LA is that I can't tell you, and it's not just me who says this, like, man, you go to a party or something and it's just like, it's like a rat race. People are like, all they want to talk about, there could be a bomb that had just dropped, 10 miles north, or a major earthquake, but still the only topic in that party is, what are you working on? Or who's your agent?
Oh my God.
It's like, it's the kind of city that feeds on people, and that's why I have to get out of this crazy city. It's home, don't get me wrong, this is where me and Buddy live, but like it's I have to get out of it from time to time to keep my sanity in check.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. Like if we just look at the movies, I think movies grab it really well as how life is there, and I love that aspect. And one day, hopefully, I will see it in person as well. That's the plan.
Yeah, I'd like to. It's one of those places where I'm like, I would really like to visit. Don't think I could deal with living there.
Yeah.
I've been expecting them. Come with me.
Let's do a weird question. What do you say?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay. So let's say that there's a machine that can take you into the movies, and you can be part of whatever movie. What movie would it be for you?
The first thing that pops in my head is Avengers: Infinity War.
I love it so much. Did I tell you this already?
Considering what happens at the end of that movie.
Oh,
Rick.
I'm just saying, interesting choice considering what happens at the end of that movie.
I know.
Rick could survive.
Because there's a part of me that wonders, like, am I gonna?
Yeah.
There's an app for that where you can find out.
After Thanos does the,
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, but
Am I
here's
gonna-
the thing. If you get dusted, do you find out where actually everybody went? Because there was a lot of theories that went
Ooh.
around.
okay, but
about
okay,
that.
right. Okay, so Infinity War, not Endgame, Infinity War.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but like-
that's my first pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the second, and the question that follows is, where did they go?
Mm.
You know, like literally. So I don't know. I mean, did they die? Did they go into a different universe? Did they go to heaven? Did they go somewhere into the ring that's on Thanos' hand? Like I don't
Yeah.
like where.
I have a
What do you?
I have a
I'm of the
theory.
opinion that they ended up in the Soul Stone.
Oh, that's what I
that
wanted
was the
to
theory
say as
that I
well.
liked. Yeah. Every
Yeah.
time people brought that one up,
Yeah.
I was like, that makes sense to me. I'm gonna take that one as the where they went in my brain.
Right, right.
I think we talked about Infinity War after we watched it, and I told you that my theory is that because they showed Gamora in the Soul Stone, and you know obviously that is where Thanos talked to her. I was like, I bet you 100% that everyone else is in the Soul Stone as well.
And they
Well,
didn't
obviously.
tell us anything.
Nope, we don't know, but that's my theory that everyone
Right.
just ended up in the Soul Stone and that's it. It would make sense. I
It
mean,
would make sense.
I
Yeah.
think that's the most likely option, personally. That or they just died.
But if they're in the Soul Stone, can they come back?
well, because of the reverse.
Right.
That
I see, but
Okay.
like, could they have like snapped again and brought them all back? I think is probably
Yeah.
they,
Like I mean, like I guess what I'm asking is, if they're in the Soul Stone, are they really dead or not?
big questions.
ooh,
Well, I think they are. Because his daughter is, right. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I love when he does the snap because it's so earned, it's so fought for, and then
Yep.
finally he's like, bam,
Yep.
you know, and you're like this. You're sitting in the audience. I don't know what you guys say, but I was like this. No.
Yep.
No,
I think everyone was dead.
It took me a couple of weeks before I could actually end up going to, because it's those Avengers movies and like Star Wars and whatnot. Those are movies I try to go and see with my family, so we all have to make sure we get to a point where we can all actually go and see them. So
Yes.
it took a couple of weeks before I could. So I didn't know specifics, but I knew something huge happened, and that a lot of people were suddenly gone. And I was like, okay, interesting. And I kind of saw the memes, but I didn't really know any of the context. But
Right.
yeah, so when I went into it, I was like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Well,
And then, obviously, Tom Holland made me cry with that whole
Only
performance,
Tom
'cause
Holland?
That wasn't fair.
I basically
it was mostly Tom Holland. I'm gonna be honest. Like I was like more in shock, and then suddenly he's like, "I don't want to go," and I'm like, "Don't do this to me. I can't be dealing with this."
Oh, come
Yeah.
on. For me, it was like Loki died, and from then on, I was just crying throughout the
Oh,
whole
I mean,
movie.
I was just pissed about that one.
I was crying.
I
That was like,
still don't like
Loki!
the fact
And
that they
then-
were like. I came out of that movie being like, I don't think he's dead. Like that's just stupid. They can't have just killed him like that.
Why
And then they were like,
he's-
no, he's
he's
dead.
dead.
And I'm like, nah, fuck off.
He's dead. No, I remember that Infinity War was, oh my god, that murdered me. I basically, Loki died, and from then on, I was just crying throughout the whole movie. I was like, nope, no.
Yeah.
Gamora, fuck you. That's just like, I was just like,
I may have to watch it tonight. I think.
Oh. good
yeah.
choice. Good choice.
Maybe I'll watch that one and then Endgame back
Yep.
to back.
That's even
it's an
better.
amazing, yeah, I mean, it's an amazing. I love these films so much, you know, and finally, Marvel has, you know, for years they've tried to make movies, you know, and even DC, they tried to make movies, superhero movies, and they've done it, but not with great success, you know, and mass appeal. But they finally did it right, starting with Iron Man.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yes.
You know?
It was the long-term vision that they went for.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
really the smart move from the get-go. They were like,
That's right.
The
we have an
smartest,
idea of where this could go, but we
Right.
got to start small and build up from the bottom.
And build up, you know, and I totally agree. And I think the problem with DC is, I have
They
another,
went straight for the gold.
Another-
They
I
were
have
like,
another
let's just
Yeah,
get them all together as quickly as
just
possible.
let's go. Let's do it like Marvel. Oh no, not do it like Marvel did. We just have to bring in the big guns and then just I don't know
Already
what happens
behind.
with
We
them.
should just skip to the end.
Yeah, just
I mean, exactly. I mean, let's like you know, like you just said, let's bring in the big guns.
Yeah.
But they did it too fucking fast, and then
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
they tried to make their own end game, you know,
And it's like,
Batman
nope.
versus Superman, and you know, and I was just like, well, what's going on, you know? And I think
It doesn't
I
work.
think it doesn't work, and I think they really betrayed. And I actually am one of the few people that actually like Batman versus Superman, but I think in terms of the long game, like they didn't. We'll talk about it. I think in the long game, they didn't plan it well. You know, they went for the money. You
Yep.
know, they went for the billions, but they should have respected the audience, us,
Yep.
and played it out just like Marvel, one
Yep.
at a time, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. Don't do the Justice League 2 years after you do Wonder Woman. Like, it didn't make any sense.
Nope.
You know?
They
I
didn't
feel
take
like
the
Wonder
time.
Woman was,
Yeah.
I feel like Wonder Woman was one of the only like really successful films out of that sort of era as
Well,
well. Because it was kind of the only one I watched as well. Because all the other ones I had heard like not so great things about, and I really wasn't fussed about Superman kind of as a character in general. But I saw Wonder Woman in the cinema. I was like, this is genuinely just a great film.
It's a great film. And I'm trying to remember the director who directed Wonder
Patty
Woman.
Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Like, she had the vision.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, totally had the vision. And it's, you know, directed by a woman, starring a woman.
A woman. Yeah.
Mostly women in the film.
Yep.
You know? And I was just like, thank God.
Yeah.
It's about damn time, you know? And not only that, she's the baddest of all of them. Like, she's the, you know, like,
She's
oh
the
yeah.
she's a badass motherfucker, you know? Like, I love Wonder Woman. And she, to my, like, when I was a child, I used to watch Linda Carter. And,
Oh yeah.
in the 1970s, and like me, my uncle, my brother, all the kids in our neighborhood, we all had a crush on Wonder Woman. Linda Carter. And I still have a crush on Wonder Woman.
No, I'm not surprised. She's still very beautiful.
Yep.
And I went and bought some. I bought this recently. This is a graphic novel.
Oh yes.
Oh wow.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
And it was terrific. I bought this at a bookstore here in LA, and I said, you know, this is it's by Alex Ross, who did Kingdom Come, and The Dark Knight. Truly, the Dark Knight films are based on Frank Miller.
Frank Miller, yeah.
Knight. Right. But Alex Ross is sort of like the DC's version of Frank Miller, and he just does this amazing art. And like, if you just look at some of the stuff, you're just like, this is just,
it's so beautiful.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And like, to know, you know, to know that, you know, you can go get stuff like that, and you know, that comic books and graphic novels are still, you know, still viable art form. I love it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Okay, here's a question that connects to the weird one. Would you be a superhero in the movie, or would you be just a dude?
Just a dude.
Just a dude.
Just a guy trying to live his life.
Yeah. Sometimes it's fun just to be just a dude.
Yeah, but that's fair enough.
Yeah. I hope I'm not too old to do this character, but I would love the chance to do the character, and I may have to just do a short film and do it on my own.
Always a good way to do it.
Nick Fury.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
I mean,
you would be awesome
perfect.
as Nick Fury.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I would have to hit the gym again, but thank you. But I have ideas about Nick Fury, and I think Nicholas J. Fury. I don't think they really discovered him yet, to be honest with you. No disrespect to Sam Jackson.
No, because he's gonna kill us, so just don't do it.
I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
out of fear of Sam Jackson, as
Yes.
opposed to just like out of respect, out of fear.
I have a Sam Jackson story. I'll tell you about it in a second. But
Yes, please.
I have two Sam Jackson stories. But I love Nick Fury. I love Nicholas J. Fury, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. And you both will really, either one of you will really impress me if you can tell me what S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for.
Oh God, I can
it's,
never remember the specifics. Like it's a strategic homeland, and then I forget the I and the E. The logistics division is the last
Yeah,
bit, but I don't
something
remember
like
the
that.
middle two.
I don't think they even
like
remember.
intervention, I think maybe. I don't know.
No.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Is it?
Okay. You.
Oh.
I have to count it. I God knows. I don't remember.
Okay.
anything.
Well, it's It's strategic Homeland Intervention
Intervention.
Enforcement Logistics Division.
Enforcement. That was the one I was missing.
Yeah. But actually, the original Shield name from the first Shield comics, I think from the 60s, it's a different name. It's like Strategic Homeland Directorate, something enforcement. Yeah. So, but they changed it. They changed it so it's a little bit more easier on the tongue when you say it, I guess. They've changed the whole thing.
It's been many years since I watched Agents of Shield as
a
show, so it's been a while since I've had to try and remember that.
Well, I think they scored by getting Clark Gregg to play
goddamn yes,
Agent Coulson on Shield. I think this big
he's
score.
awesome. Yep.
Wonderful, amazing, great, nice guy. I met him a long time ago. He was really sweet. But I would love Nick Fury, and I have ideas about him that I think they man. Like it could just be so different. You know?
Yeah.
So he is, in my mind, he is as he's an agent.
Yeah.
You know, he's the agent of all agents. You know, like
he's the dude.
He's the dude.
He's the dude.
He's the dude.
We don't know how many languages he can speak. We don't know what his tactical fight skills are. We don't know what weapons he has access to. What security systems and intelligence systems around the world he has access to. He has access to pretty much everything, you know, and he's badass. You know?
Oh, he is.
And you know, he's the Jason Bourne in that direction. You know?
Oh yeah. Yep.
You know, but they haven't made him that in the movies. They made him the boss, but you know, and they kind of went in that direction a little bit. My favorite scene is when they try to assassinate him when he's driving the SUV. Right?
Winter
Soldier.
Like, oh, yep.
I'm like, exactly, Winter Soldier, which is one of my favorite films. Yeah, exactly. And I said, now we're gonna finally fucking see what Shield's about right fucking now. You know, he says, what does he say? Go into he says, activate vertical lift.
Vertical lift, yep.
Activate vertical lift, go! Bam!
Yep.
I was like, yes.
He just showed it to everyone.
Yes. I'm like, that's fucking Shield. Like, take him in the fucking orbit. You know, and save his life. But they didn't do that, you know. But it was cool. You got at least a chance to get an idea of the technology that Shield has. Oh, yeah. You know, like he dug himself into the street and then escaped. You know, I said, okay, all right.
It was like, I love Nick Fury, but I honestly thought that you're going to say the Black Panther. Well, that was my guess.
Black Panther. Well, I love Black Panther. You know, make Chadwick Boseman rest in peace. It just destroyed me. You know, I cried as if I had knew him. I never met him, but I cried that day. You know, my mom said, "Honey, I know you're messed up." You know, I said, "I'm all right." You know, I think it's tragic. You know? And so young and so handsome and so talented, and I can't imagine anyone else playing. T'Challa, other than Chadwick Boseman. So.
Yeah. My friend made me promise that I will ask you, so I have to ask you to please. Okay. It's the last season and the final season of Supernatural, and you were in it as the alpha vampire, and a lot of people love you as the alpha vampire, me included. You remember I told you this, that I only went back to Supernatural to see you in it because I was like, my friend is there, so I'm gonna watch it, and you were awesome as always. But my friend would like to know, how was your experience at the Supernatural set, and what do you think of the show?
So many memories. I may actually cry right now.
Oh no, man. Ricky, I'm giving you a hug. Come here. It's coming.
We'll hug this great. I'm hugging my HP.
It's fine.
I can't get close to my camera than this.
It's all about love, y'all.
It is.
There are a few shows in the world that mean a lot to me, and that's certainly one of them. And this video is a Supernatural fandom. It's a documentary on the Supernatural fandom.
Yep.
and you can get this. I'm still pretty sure you can still buy this online. Um, it's SPN fan movie, produced and directed by Jared and Jensen's personal. Jared and Jensen have. I'm going to give you the brief version. They have for years. They've had a long-standing brotherly relationship with their bodyguard, Cliff. And you may have seen Cliff before. He's very popular.
I feel like I've heard the people talk about Cliff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cliff has his own fandom, like, and he's a sweetheart of a guy. I believe he's also a cancer survivor, and he's a big dude. He looks like a wrestler, but sweet as can be. And he protects. For years, it protected Jared and Jensen wherever they go, and he is part of the SPN fandom.
Yeah.
Cliff has a brother named Mitch, and Mitch also is part of the SPN fandom. He's not as visible as his brother Cliff, but he's a producer, and I believe he used to be an actor many years ago. And he's one of my friends. Aww. And Mitch and I hung out. He texted me a few days ago, "Hey brother, how's it going?" I'm like, I'm surviving this crazy ass pandemic like everybody else. So,
it's going, as we like to say. It is going.
Yeah, but we check in on each other from time to time. And I love the guy. And he directed and produced this documentary about supernatural fandom. And the thing about Supernatural is it's this amazing, fantastic, as I've said before, beautiful, huge, dysfunctional family that's global. It's around the world.
Yeah.
You can be wearing, Lily, Katie, myself, like any one of us could be wearing like a Supernatural T-shirt.
Yep.
It has the Impala on the front.
Oh yeah.
And Jared and Jensen, and you could be in an airport in New Zealand or Paris or New York, and then someone says, "Hey, I watch Supernatural too," and then next thing you know, you've got an instant friend. Yeah. And you exchange Twitter accounts or email or Instagram or phone numbers, and you just made an instant friend, and that's global. That's around the world. And I absolutely love that. I've never experienced anything like that with Star Trek or BSG. No disrespect to the fandoms, but it's a different sort of fandom. And I think Supernatural it truly is like the show itself about a family,
Yeah.
And I love that. I've never been part of that until I did Supernatural, and to work with Jared and Jensen and Misha and Mark, and the whole Guy B, who directed my episodes and hired me, and Johnny McCarthy, who directed my very last episode, the stunt team, Lou, everybody who's involved. They are, a special group of people for me. And I said, I remember telling Jared, I said, "Man, you spoiled me, right? Like, I'm not going to want to do anything after this." Like I've got bills to pay and I've got to buy dog food and everything else, but like you guys have treated me so well, and you made me instantly feel like I belonged here. Yeah. That's rare, and if you're not a regular on the show, you come on as a guest, and it's sometimes not so pleasant. You show up, you do your scenes, you do your lines, say goodnight, goodbye. People are nice, but in Supernatural, the case of Supernatural, I always use this example. When I did 3 episodes of Supernatural, season 5, season 7, and season 12.
Yep.
Yeah. When I did season 7, I remember coming back to Vancouver, and it was raining, as it always is in Vancouver. And the Teamster driver pulls me up to the studio, and I'm getting ready to go in, and it's raining. Not bad, but raining. And I see some crazy dude on a little mini bike, and he's out there just riding around outside. and then he starts approaching me, in the van, like, and then he starts waving at me, and it was Jared.
Oh, sweetheart.
Yeah. And then I get out of the van, and it's raining, and he comes up to me and hugs me, and he says, "Dude, welcome back."
Oh, yes.
That's so lovely.
I love that.
I love it. That never happens,
Yeah.
And I don't even think I do that. You know, like it's like they really want you to feel like you belong, you know. And when we finished our very last episode in season 12, I did something which I never really do. I knocked on Jared's door, and you know Jared's tall. He's like 6'6" or 6'5" or something. And I'm pretty tall myself, but I very rarely have to look up to somebody like this. And I said, dude, it's been an honor, you know.
Yeah.
Can we please have a picture together? He says, man, I would fucking love to. Come on. So we took a picture, and I posted on Instagram, and we look like two brothers, you know, just standing next to each other, you know.
Yeah.
And that to me means so much. And I get emotional because I respect them both so much, and I think they are two guys who understood how to do a TV show and to not let the trappings of Hollywood get to them. You know, like they stayed grounded. You know,
That's so cool.
You know what I mean? And you know, they live in Texas, you know, and they have wives and families and dogs. And in fact, I think Jared's dog passed away earlier this year. It was really messed up. Yeah. And so I enjoyed working with them, and I think they understood how to really play the genre of horror.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
You know, like you have to do it the right way.
Oh yeah.
Know?
Yep.
You know, and they understood the stakes of it, you know, and how to do it and how to make it fun, you know.
100%. That's so good to hear, honestly. Like and I think, as you said it, because it's rare that something like this happens, or that, you know, they are so welcoming. I think it's amazing to hear. I did finish watching Supernatural after like season 5, but as I said, I went back when you were on and I watched it, and still, even though I haven't really watched them since then, I still feel the pain that comes through that. You know, now it's the final season for the guys, and it's like I'm with them. I'm like, oh God, I can't even imagine. And just to mention the fandom just a little bit, they are so freaking amazing. I did the drawing of Jared, Misha, and Jensen together.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and I can assure you, not only is your drawing, and I say this in all 100 trillion% honesty and truth, not only is your drawing just fucking amazing, I made sure that they got it, and I gave it to. I wasn't able to give it to them directly, but I gave it to the best person who gave it to him, and he promised me, looked me right in the eye, and he says, "I promise you, they will see this today." And that was one of the producers on the show.
Oh, Rick.
Producer, and not only producer and writer for the show. And he says, "Rick, I swear to you, they will get this. I promise you." So.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Okay, now I'm gonna start to cry. it's going in circles, guys.
It's going in circles.
So, Katie, it's your turn next.
Katie, it's your turn.
And you know, it was. I did my first Comic-Con, and the first people who came to me were Supernatural fans, and they saw the drawing, and that was the first drawing I ever sold in my whole life. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like, thank you, fandom.
For sure.
And you know, you are amazing.
Supernatural family, big time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sending all the love.
Absolutely, yeah. And that was your very, very first one that you said that sold. Yeah, nice.
Yep.
But you did it. You did it at what's the name of the event? And is it in London, right?
It's the MCM.
Was it MCM?
MCM Comic-Con. Yeah.
See you next season.
Looking forward to it.
I'll relate one quick story, and then we can say adios.
Perfect. I love it.
I was a guest star on Battlestar Galactica for a few episodes, maybe 8 episodes, and then I did the 2-hour movie called The Plan. Yeah.
Yep.
And which was the Battlestar Galactica told from the point of view of us Cylons.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm so glad they did that, because I think that was a story that needed to be told. And it also gave Simon, my character, a chance to finally, you know, really come out of it, you know, and really present, you know, like people have always, I had neighbors who were saying, man, we love this show, but God, we wish you were in it more, you know. So finally they gave me a chance to, I know you said that. And, you know, I'm very humble, you know. I remember having an agent, she said, Rick, you're a wonderful actor, but your problem is that you're too goddamn nice.
Being nice is a bad
An
thing.
issue. I think that's a very good thing.
It is a very good thing.
Yeah, and I never complained about, you know, the writing or screen time, all that stuff. You know, I said, I trust they'll write well for this. I'll do my job. You know?
Yeah.
But I have to admit that when the script for the plan came in, I was actually, coincidentally, if you believe in coincidence, which I don't, I was in London doing a BSG convention at London Heathrow Airport at a hotel, you know, and it was me and Luciana Caro and Keith Callum, what's his name? Keith Callum.
It won't come.
I can't remember. Yeah, he's got 3 names.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a Cylon too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Katie, check. I won't come to me.
I'm having a look.
And
keep telling your story.
we were all doing a BSG convention in 2008. I was in London. I had just flown in. I was tired as hell, and I had 3-4 days in London, and we were there with about 50 really wonderful fans, and we had a wonderful time. We partied, did karaoke, and all kinds of stuff. But when I was there, my agent emailed me the script for the plan, and I read it like right away, and I said, "Oh, this is going to be really good." Finally, you know, you'll get a chance to see Cylon number 4 really tell his story, you know, as well as everyone else. You know?
Yep.
And I was really, and then Edward James Olmos was directing. I was like, oh God, this is it's a can't lose situation.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
It's going to be, he's going to force me to bring out my best, you know, and which he did, and I love him always to this day. You know? The Battlestar Galactica, to this day, and that was 12 years ago now, you know, that was 2008. So it's 2020, going on 13 years ago. I was walking down the street and I was in New York City, of all places, visiting, I believe, my brother and his wife. They were living there at the time, and my nephews were just little kids at the time. They were all living in New York. And I checked into a hotel. I flew in. I got into New York at like 10 p.m. It takes an hour to get from JFK into the city. And then I checked into the hotel. And you're in New York. You know, it's like being like you land in London. You want to get out and walk around. And so I said, you know what? I put my bags down, got my hotel key, and I headed straight for Times Square. Thousands of people, as you know, in New York. Thousands. This one dude is looking at me like this. You know, and then he starts getting closer and closer and closer. And then I said, I think he's a fan. I don't know. Yeah, you know. And then finally he gets close enough to me and he says, "Are you a Cylon?" And I go, first of all, I go like this. Oh, thank God, he's not going to stab me. He's going to
5 minutes in New York and somebody's
5 minutes in New York and I'm dead. Right? Bam. I can see you. You know. Yeah. And he says, I said yes. And he says, and he just pulled out something from his pocket, like a piece of paper or an envelope or something. Would you please sign this? Please sign this.
Aww.
So I signed it, and then he walked away from me as if I were an actual Cylon. He walked away like this, like terrified, just fucking terrified. And I said, that's the impact that show had on people.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it meant a lot to people, and it still does. So my only wish is that I keep hearing there's rumors of a remake, and I just hope that if they do a remake, I don't want to be in it. That's fine. I just want it to be good.
It just needs to be good. I get that.
It just needs to be good. You know, like it's hard to make lightning strike twice, and that was lightning what they had. You know, yeah. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Love it.
I love it. Well, Ricky, this was amazing, and thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming. Honestly,
It was amazing. Thank you, Lily and Katie. It's so nice to meet you, and thank you for
Lovely
inviting
to meet
me
you.
and likewise to your podcast. And forgive me if I spoke too much.
Oh, no.
Oh God,
God,
no!
no.
It's great. That's exactly the point.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
We wanted you to come and tell all your stories. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Good.
And for today's Lily's recommend, I will just
Of course.
say one thing that it's in honor of Rick, my friend. Please go and watch Fallen, which was an amazing short series, a mini series, and then it was later a movie as well. And if you haven't watched it, what are you doing with your life? That's my question to you. Please just go on. I do believe it is available on Prime. Not 100% sure. Check it.
That name, by the way, Callum Keith Rennie.
Callum Keith Rennie. That's
there
right.
it is.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
So yeah, it was one of my favorite shows of all time. And just go and watch it. What are you doing? Go and watch Fallen, please. But just watch anything that Rick
Thank
does.
you. So what are you doing with it? Why aren't you watching this show? Come on.
Right?
Yeah. Fallen. Thank you so much for Fallen, and thanks for the love. It means a lot. I don't think a lot of people knew about Fallen, but thank you. And if I remember correctly, I know we're going to wrap this up, but if I remember correctly, we hung out, and then you showed me the newspaper article of the actor in Hungary.
Yep.
Who voices over me.
Yep.
In Fallen. and there's and I remember telling you, I was like, oh my God, this is the guy that does my voice, but it's all in Hungarian. And it made me not only want to learn Hungarian, which I still want to do, but it made me want to hang out with him.
Oh,
and because you told me, like you said, this is the guy, and in the article there's a picture of him, and he's tall and he's bald, like shaved head.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the Hungarian Rick, like that's me.
Yep. That's you. Unfortunately, he didn't voice you in The Magicians, which was very disappointing. So.
Oh, okay.
But that most of the time he is your voice over here.
Right. I just like in other shows besides Fallen, he's done my voice.
Yep.
That's it. To me, that means more than like getting like an Emmy award. Like that's
I think you two would have a good time. We will arrange it.
Yeah. Are you in contact with him at all, or?
I do know him, not as personally
him,
as I know you,
right
but
Gotcha.
it's a question of an email basically.
Gotcha. Well, maybe one day we can facilitate that. Maybe perhaps I would love to take both of you out to lunch. So maybe one day we can do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. We can definitely do that. So Rick, once again, thanks you for coming.
Thank you.
And that is it for today, guys. You can listen to the podcast on our usual platform, and you can watch it right now on Troy Baker's Relator. And Rick, thank you so much. We love you.
Yeah,
I love you. I miss you. And it was so good to see you.
Thanks, my friend. Love you too, Lily. And thank you, Katie. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you
and
for
you
coming.
guys stay safe and keep wearing your masks.
Yes.
Here's my new one. So that one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, spectacular.
And
Perfect.
And when this craziness is over, we'll all be sitting down doing a live interview in the same room. So.
Oh,
I love that.
I love it.
Right. from a pub somewhere. So.
Beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.